Hello dear students, I am Darshana Patel from VPMP Polytechnic. My subject is Computer and Network Security and my topic of hash function and digital signature of Cryptography and Public Key Infrastructure Unit 3. Now objectives of today's learning is to understanding hash function and its application and about digital signature. Now in this video, we covered the topic of hash function with its application, SHA-1 algorithm, digital signature and its usage. Now first of all, hash function. Now what is hash function? As shown in the figure, hash function H, it accepts a variable length block of data M as an input and it produces fixed size hash value as output. So small h, that means of hash output, h is equals to capital H of message M, where capital H is a hash function which is applied to the variable length message M and the length of the message is specified with L. It is impossible to recreate the input data from its hash value. It is the main property of the hash function. The input message or say input, it is known as a message, whereas the output or say the hash value is called the message digest. It is infeasible to find two different messages with the same hash value. That's a solid property of the hash function. Now the applications of hash function. These are the various applications where the hash functions are most useful. Say message authentication, digital signature, file integrity verification, password hashing and key derivation, as well as hash functions are also useful in various security environments like blockchain and so different areas. Now SHA-1 function or SHA-1 algorithm, secure hash algorithm. Okay, for SHA algorithm, they are structured differently like SHA-0, SHA-1, 2 and 3. Here we are showing the SHA-1 function in which we remember these parameters that our message size should be less than 2 raised to 24, block size 5 and 2 bits, word size 32 bits, number of steps 80 and one more thing, the output that is of message digest and the size of message digest is 160 bits. Now the first step of the algorithm is to padding. The original message is of variable length, so the message is padded and its length becomes into n into 5 into 5. And the padding, it consists of a single 1 bit which followed by a number of 0 bits as per the requirement of 5 into size of block. Step number 2, append the length. A block of 64 bits is added to the message. So it is used to represent the length of the original message. It contains original message length. Then step number 3, allocate an 80-word array for the message schedule. And after that, we loop 80 times to do the following. Here there are 5 different variables A, B, C, D and E is there. Because our message digest, our output of length 160 bits, that is of 32 multiply 5 is equals to 160 bits. So we need 5 variables each having of 32 bits. So here we are taking A, B, C, D and E variable. Okay. Now here the calculate SHA-1 function and constant k. For that we are remembering the shown logic. The shifted variable D is assigned to E, C is assigned to D, D is assigned to C and so on. This is the output behind the SHA, this is the logic behind the SHA-1 function. It generates the different hash outputs and the final hash output can be calculated by adding the A, B, C, D and E, which is a final message digest of 160 bits. Now our next topic, digital signature, which is based on the concept of asymmetric encryption technique. First of all, what is digital signature and when it's required? So digital signature is an electronic form of signature that can be used to authenticate the identity of the sender of a message and also ensure that the content of the message that has been sent is unchanged. Means digital signature is used for the sender authentication as well as message integrity. When digital signature is required, when there is not a complete trust between the sender and receiver, at that time digital signature is needed to prove the authenticity of the sender and also that the message that is sent, it is accurate or not. So it's used for checking the message integrity also. These are the various properties of digital signature. It must verify the sender, date and time of the signature. It also authenticates the content at the time of signature. It must be verified by the third party to resolve the dispute between the sender and the receiver. When the two entities are not trustful to each other, then proving the trust for the sender is necessary, and that trust be proved through the electronic signature, say digital signature. Now, as shown in the block diagram, how the signature generation is done at the sender side. For that, the cryptography hash function and asymmetric encryption technique is used. Here, the original message M having the applied to the cryptography hash function, and it generates the hash value small h. Now that hash value have been encrypted through the private key, sender's private key, and it generates the signature S. So signature generation at the sender side involves two techniques, hash function and applying the encryption technique through the asymmetric encryption. Here the sender side private key is used for encrypting the signature, encrypting the hash value and generating the signature. Now at receiver side, signature verification steps occurs. Here in signature verification, as shown in the figure, the message M is applied a cryptographic hash function and its generation has value. That value and the signature S that is comes from the sender side, that signature it is decrypted using the sender's public key and it generates a hash value H dash. Now the H and H dash both are compared, and if they are same, then the signature is valid, otherwise signature is not valid. So here the comparison is done between the H and H dash, which returns that the signature is valid or not. So here the signature verification as well as the original message integrity both are verified at the receiver side's algorithm. So the digital signature, which consists having of two algorithms, one for the sender side, which is used for the signature generation and which involves the user's private key, and the other algorithm which is used as a signature verification algorithm and which is done at the receiver side, and it involves user's public key. So the digital signature is used for the message authentication, message integrity, and various kinds of services where there is not a complete trust between the two entities. Now next, key escrow. It is a cryptography key exchange process in which key is held in escrow or stored by a third party. It is like a one kind of wallet which holds the cryptographic keys which are used for the encryption as well as for decryption. Here the third party is involved which hold the all the cryptography keys which is used for the encryption decryption. Here key escrow or say the wallet which provides as a backup source for cryptography keys. So it provides one kind of backup. But it is risky because here the third party involvement is there which holds the keys. So it is little bit risky. Here the key escrow is to serve as a backup if the parties means and entities which access to the cryptography key lost the data, such as through some natural disaster or some crack attack or server crack. At that time, if the two end entities which involved in the cryptographic encryption and decryption, they lost their data, they lost their keys, then here the key escrow technique provided good backup source for cryptographic keys, and the key is available at that time through this third party involvement through the key escrow. So that is the main concept behind the key escrow. Thank you for listening.